Okay, hello AP Seminar students. I'm here to explain how I would like you to write your counter-argument paragraphs. So what you see up here on my smartboard is a copy of a handout I sent you through Google Classroom. And what I want you to notice is that the document has several pages. So on the first page you have two examples of counter-argument paragraphs, and you have a list of what the features of a strong counter-argument paragraph looks like. If you go on to the second page, you'll see that same list of features of strong counter-arguments, but now you'll see two more examples. So you have four examples to look at. Now, what I want you to see next is that as you scroll down, what we've done with the first two paragraphs of counter-argument is we've color-coded them, showing you that these features that we see in a counter-argument also show up in these paragraphs. So in a very simplistic way, a counter-argument is your way of explaining why someone would disagree with your thesis. So one of the first things we do is we have to state a topic sentence. What is that reason why people would disagree? And often we use transition expressions such as others believe or opponents of this argument, however, to let our readers know that we're shifting away from supporting our thesis to recognizing a counter-argument. The strength of the counter-argument is in the evidence you produce. The evidence is going to be used either up here at the top to convince us that this opposite point of view is a strong one. So you're kind of giving in to your opponent and say, well, there's a lot of evidence to support what my opponent says. But then you need to shift, and you shift down here in the gray area where you say, well, this all might be true, I still believe my argument's better. And then what the writer does is they need to start weakening this argument, the argument of your opponent, and that's where we see some more textual evidence. So that's the textual evidence that's going to support your claim and try to weaken the claim of your audience. Please note in the areas that I've highlighted in gray, this is where I should hear your voice, your writer's voice, that I don't just want to hear textual evidence. On the third page, we have one more body paragraph that's highlighted. I'll have you know that this body paragraph comes from the second IWA that you have a copy of, and that this one too comes from that second IWA. Now, if you're having trouble getting started because you feel like you don't quite understand how to begin your counter argument, I tell kids to look first at your graphic organizer. This is something we completed in class. If you were absent, then you should know that what we did is we wrote out what our research question was. We wrote out what the thesis was, how we would answer that research question, and we started identifying reasons to support our thesis. By the time you write this counter-argument paragraph, you will have already written your first paragraph showing support for your thesis, your second body paragraph to show support for your thesis. So what we want you to do is we want you to look at the back side of this graphic organizer, and this is where kids started identifying counter-arguments. And they started identifying which of their sources would help support this counter-argument and which sources they had that they could use to weaken this counter-argument. So if you're still feeling like you can't get started, then you need to come all the way back to this document. And this document is the one where you wrote out your research question and you listed all the reasons why someone would answer yes to your research question, and this side why people would say no, the con reasons. So when you're doing a counter argument, basically you're picking one of these con reasons and explaining why your opponents think that this con reason would weaken your thesis. Okay, I wish you luck in doing this, and if you have questions, you can email me. Thank you.